for later, yeah, because we have exact time for the last topic.
Yeah.
Maybe if it's a short question, yeah.
It's not a question. It's something to share.
Yes.
Just a short, yeah. In France, I was speaking with some people. I was speaking with the captain. I know him very well.
Yeah.
So we were speaking about styles and different. Like we have popping, we have hip hop, whatever. In these different styles, there were some people who danced very much differently than others.
Mm-hmm.
So some DJs and some music producers make the music, the beats, on based on their dance style.
Mm-hmm.
So how they create this pigo and these things. And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, slick dog.
And they make the music on some person's style.
Yes.
And it's totally some other level of, of sharing,
Yeah, of course, because the
It's
music is the
crazy.
party. Absolutely. But you have to think about, in France, before Electric Boogie, they didn't call it Electric Boogie, they called it the Smurf. So this was the French culture of this, right? But they have also another style, they call it Electro. And they have another style,
Tectonic.
no, I mean
before
from
electro it was
Tectonic, of
tectonic.
course,
Tectonic.
Tectonic is a brand. It's electro dance.
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
So this is also culture. In Germany, in my city, they called the popping. They called stopping. So stops. And they say your stops
What?
are nice. This is the old.
Wow.
In Berlin, they called the popping klicken. Click. To click.
Oh.
So it would be USA, maybe it would be clicking right now, So you know what I mean? It's this kind of, because
Wow.
you need some terms to define things. So yeah, and the music, of course. Music is a different aspect. The music is I think
combining the dance with the style of certain dancers, which
Yeah.
is very crazy,
Yeah.
and the music, and then it's all
Yeah.
new style in the style.
That's how we got.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's also,
Crazy.
we didn't talk about music at all.
Yeah, that's true.
And actually, the music is the key to all this kind of movements. But we are so deep into movement right now and defining styles that we look to the movement. But the music made the biggest impact actually for dance styles, right?
That's why they kind of like separated later, because music changes and then the dance is
Yeah, but when you say, okay, funk and disco, you can do pop to it, you can do whack to it, you can do lock to it.
Yeah.
Of course, when you go now specific, you say no, disco is only for.
Yeah.
Then you start to have a dogma, and with this dogma, I say every time, dogma is good for practice. But then after practice, you go out, you open the practice door, then the dogma have to, and then you open up the door again to, because then you say, okay, now I practice only on disco to feel it, or on popping beats and so on, to feel it, to have a proper feeling, but then you have to lose it again. It's like microscopic view and then macro. Yeah, it's every time. All the time. It's all the time like this. Go on, bro.
Guys, third part of our conversation is about judging. Very important one, in my opinion. Maybe one of the most important in the culture, because this is the way how the judges define the future, the destiny of the people.
Your life is in your hands. Yeah.
Okay. The question is, there's actually a bunch of questions. Like, is the judging? It's tricky maybe. Is the judging should be objective, or subjective? And up for me, it sounds obvious that judging should be fair. And how it becomes fair? Like for me, it's when you apply a certain scale, certain method equally to everyone, and to find this scale, what is the method? How you can decide? But if you say, for instance, it should be subjective based on feelings, for instance, also feelings doesn't come from nowhere. There's maybe something what made it you feel that way. Maybe it's just for some judges it's like a cover. You say I felt him, but what made you feel that way? And what is this method? What is this measures? Maybe we can call it criteria. Maybe not. What is your way of defining this way? How you decide who win or who lose? This is the first one, and the second one is the also tricky one, because there is some judging methods. I would say when judge prefer one way of execution above the others, which we experience like was like opinion like some judges say you should do like closer to EB style, or you should do in evading you should do more body weight, or approach more to the constant flow. Does it should be like this or should not? And how you can how you define this border when it's too wide, like you comment as the late, and it's not about this, and what is within the frame of the elimination, I would say. So this is like two things I would like to push for.
Damn.
You're the first one.
Start if you want to start, whatever.
So I think humans are subjective, but I think a good judging is trying to be as objective as possible, of course, knowing that we are subjective. I think following a method for me is the best way, because then you can put everybody under the same method and try to compare, the results and be like, okay, this or that. When I started judging in 2016 or 15, I came across this problem also, like, okay, I mean, I know who I like more. Does he deserve to win though? Like, and I found myself that I didn't know, and I didn't know how to do my job. And I was okay. I need to have a system. So I started thinking, what are the parameters that are the most important for me? The most how can I say, undeniable, right? When I watch a dancer, and I was like, okay, I can certainly see technique, the way that somebody is moving, and I can see that if they want a step and they have a clean step that how can I say it, that matches the way that they want to do it. Because for me, technique is not a physical thing. Technique is an ability to make an idea, thought, feeling into the real world with your body. That's what a technique is for me, right? So when I'm watching somebody and I want to analyze how technical they are, I'm thinking, what did he want to do? Did he want to do something in the floor? Yes. Did he want to do it this way? Was it the way that he intended? And then I'm like, okay, that's technically correct. If he wants to do a clean wave, yeah, and he goes and be like, because he's nervous, and I'm like, I know what you wanted to do, but then your body didn't respond the way you wanted because there's not enough practice. That is technique for me, right? I was like, technique is obviously something that I have to put in my system. Musicality is something that also should be there, the way that you move with your music and the way that you approach music. And then creativity, the act of not repeating stuff, always be creating on the spot, being able to adapt, be able to take risks, and take the risk and see what happens and have this playful mind, right? And I was like, okay, can I compare these three things between two dancers? And I was like, yeah, I can imagine myself judging Slim Boogie and Green Tech, and even though they're both technically excellent, I can say that sometimes Slim Boogie can have a little bit more of textures and like little things, but he can also have big ass movements that also require a lot of technique, right? And I was like, okay, trying to put numbers into it might help. So I got to the decision of technique, musicality, and creativity all go from 0 to 10. There's no any more important than the other one. And what I do is 0 to 10 in these three criteria, and then I divide it by 3, and I have like a medium note, and that is the the value that I give to one dancer. If the other one matches or gets better than the other one, he just wins, right? Matches no, if it matches, it's a tie. So, and I was like, okay, what if I don't feel it? What if I don't feel this dancer? Is feeling something that I should take into account? And I was like, can I put a number on feeling? And I realized that I couldn't. Like, there's no way I can tell Robozee that he loves his wife less than I love my wife, right? There's no way I can decide on what you feel, right? And then I was with groove. I had the same, like, okay, is groove something I can put a score on it? Because the groove is the way I feel the music. How do I know, I'm feeling it more than you, and how do I know this is matching more my feeling? So I was like, I'm gonna keep this away, just because I cannot put a number on it, basically. So I got to my system, which is called TMC, Technique, Musicality, and Creativity. And since 2016, I've always done that. I always have my paper. I'm always like, for you who have been in battles, have been judging like Back to the Future. I'm always like,
yeah, like the future, everybody.
Yeah.
And I do it too.
Yeah.
I was also judge.
Yes.
I think 1 year later.
Yeah,
2 years later.
And I was like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So I base my system in numbers because it's my only way to be able to really compare people, to have values on criteria, scores. And every time that people have a problem with it, I'm like, here's your score. What do you want to talk about? Oh, I think I deserve more technique. Okay, why? And then we can have a like more, like in-depth analysis about the dance. Because imagine I go to China to judge, and it's like 1,000 poppers, and 90% look the same. So it's like, hi, can you tell me something about my selection? I'm like, well,
You're good.
That's gonna be a problem. But because I have my numbers, I'm like, what is your number? Okay, I see that you have a 6 on technique and a 4 on musicality. This means that you need more work in musicality. You have a 4 probably because you were offbeat, because a5 is not really being offbeat for me, right? Like that's the minimum to get a good score. So then we can talk about it more in depth, even if it's 1,000 dancers, right? 1,000 dancers. That's why I use numbers. That's why I use always like, and maybe this is a little bit nerdy, but I keep all my notes from all these years of dancing. I have my hard drive full of pictures of the notes of every event.
That's super
Categorized.
dope.
It's dope.
Yeah.
Can you share it?
Yes.
Imagine like someone five from 3 years ago is like, yeah, remember when you judged shitty against me? It's like, I got the notes.
Yeah,
So your foundation here was like,
But even today, you can say, okay, show me the video.
Yeah.
I'm still judging this
Yeah.
the same way.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So you
that's
can
true.
do this today
And
too.
people normally have this question like, what is a 10 for you then?
What is it?
A
A
10.
10.
Like, where do you put a 0? Where do you put a 10? And I'm always like, 10 is something that I just don't even understand because it's so great that my mind cannot comprehend it. And 0 is something that doesn't belong to a dance battle, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
0 is when a contemporary dancer
comes
go
into
to
a
a popping battles. Then it's like, okay, this is 0 because you don't speak the language.
Exactly.
Yeah. It is.
And when I go to let's say I'm judging in Spain, right?
Yeah.
And people see that they have 6 and 7 as the highest scores. They're like, why? Like, I'm honestly the best one here. I'm like, yeah, but I'm comparing you to people like Buchon or
the golden
Limbo.
standard, yeah.
This is like these are my 10s, right? Things
Yeah.
that I cannot still fully comprehend, right? So you're being compared to that, and it takes more skill to go from 7 to 8 than going from 6 to 7. Like in doubles, it's exponential. Getting from an 8 to 9 means you're really fucking crazy, right? Getting from 5 to 6 is not that big of a deal. That's how I do it. That's how you will be judged tomorrow by scores. You will lose if you have a 7 and the other guy has a 7.3.
I understand it's tricky, but what about the valuing one specific way of dancing about the other? like because some I understand it's provocative for a question, like but some judges maybe they are not verbalize it, no, they don't say it straight, but you can see by the decisions. And what do you think about that, and how you, if you deny it, and how you try to prevent it? But it's also tricky to, like, you have waving animation, and there is like, I don't know, I do this like waving or not. Like I don't know what's the maybe the border here for when you divide. This is not waving.
Oh, okay. Where do I put the okay the slash? That's not normally up to me, really. When I put a score on dancing and you're getting into waving preselection, if it looks like a wave, if it looks like an illusion of a wave, I normally take it as waving. Right? Things like threading or tutting into waving or popping into waving, shit like that. I normally look at it in a technical way. It's like, okay, that's waving with hits. Is that because you can only do that stuff, or is it because it's an artistic choice? So I'm always like thinking, oh, okay, is this pure waving? What it means to be pure waving? Is this more waving than this? Right? So I always try to maintain like a how can I say, like an objective mind. I take everything as waving. That way, I have no problem with that. It's like this has its technical ability. That has its technical ability. Now it's up to creativity, musicality, and technique. That's basically. But if you're doing waving in a waving category, probably I will not have a problem with that. Same with popping. If you go into a popping preselection and you're contracting your muscles to the rhythm of the music, it doesn't matter you do a wave, you're also doing the popping, right? Like the contraction is the main attraction of your round, so that is popping too, right? That's what I would do.
Nice. I mean, yeah, like you nailed it, bro. Like I don't know what to say. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the three parameters: technicality, creativity, and musicality is definitely like the top parameters you could take. Like, if I could add on to something, like I'd possibly maybe say like I would judge like how the dancer, maybe like you could say kind of like stage presence, or not even that, but more like yeah, just how the person performs in this setting. Let's say, yeah, like something like this. I'd say, yeah, let's just say stage performance, because it's like usually you're on a stage, but like, yeah, wherever you are, like there's this kind of extra aspect where you're performing in front of people. So does the person like take into account where they are? Like, I guess this could be like an extra maybe detail. For instance, if you know someone's like there's two battles, and like there's a battle and there's one person's ticked all the boxes, and let's say if completely everything is the same, you know, like if the numbers would be like technicality, musicality, and creativity are the same, here is the same, which is very rare to happen. If there's like little details, maybe did this person like interact in some way, maybe either with the crowd or with the person. I guess like when we say it's a battle, there is like some kind of conversation happening. So if there is a conversation, maybe if this kind of aspect is there, then obviously I could give that extra thing to the person, but that wouldn't be per se like the main thing. But there is that extra detail to where like one person can actually maintain their stage presence and not just like be in their zone. However, it is still good, like it is still an approach. You can zone out and like this kind of thing, but it depends. Like I said, yeah, if all the other parameters are like the same, then yeah, maybe that extra criteria. But other than that, like what Inox said, I feel like technique, creativity, execution to the music, which is like, yeah, obviously musicality. Yeah, I wouldn't I know what to add, man.
I try to because I found myself in that position. It's like
Yeah.
what else? And
Yeah.
then I realized like, really, I have no way. Like I think if I try to find the root, of everything that I'm looking for in a dancer, when I look at a dancer, the root of it all of that all is just like these 3 parameters.
It's true, yeah.
Because battle etiquette, for example, right? Some people care like they're battling. I just have no way to tell you if this is better than Slimboki being like this. So because I have no way to put a number on that, I just take it out. I mean, it might be important for you or for the culture. For me, just because I have no way to put a number on it,
Yeah.
I just don't take it.
Yeah. It's like you can't put a number on it for sure. Yeah.
Sorry about the questions. Unfortunately, we're run out of time, so we let the Robo speak.
Hold your question.
Yeah,
You
and
will
after
ask- yes.
we leave, you
Yes,
can ask.
hold your question. Sorry. Okay. So, me, I don't give numbers. I'm a very critical person because I'm very critical also with me. So I educate myself to know and then to read the dancer. And of course the criteria is what they say, absolutely yes. You have creativity, you have musicality, and you have technique, right? And then you have the performativity, how you perform it. If you are a weird character and the solo is solid on the music and you are creative with the foundation and we understand what you're doing, then you get less critics. When I see, oh, you try to do something, then I write it down and tell you later. And I'm like, this and that. And of course, it's the moment and it's comparison. It's like, okay, all-style battle. For example, somebody do hip-hop and the other one comes in with crumping, okay? Okay, so let's see. Is the crumping good quality? Is the hip-hop good quality? Okay, both is good quality. How is the performance from both? Okay, both are good. Let's say very extreme. It's not happen so often that is like crazy
exactly.
both. Because when it's crazy both, you say, okay, I need another round. But this is, I don't like to have another round actually, right? Because this is not so, but sometimes it happens. So, and then you compare the technique and how they use the music with their body. And then, of course, of my education and what I learned from, I give, even I write task like, oh, you have to do this, she have to learn about the steps more, and so on, and then comes the judgment. Because in the end, who is better or lose, right? It doesn't matter. Because it's an art form, it's a culture, and this is actually the most important part, right? The competition is just a magnet to get people inside, but the dancing and the expression is the goal. Because I was in Planet Popping, so many individual people, and I was like, wow. You have Cypher against Marvel, let's say, for example, right?
Yes.
You have Mr. Steen, and then you have another guy who do from Friends. So you have Tartars, you have waivers, you have individual people, and then it's like, okay, does he perform with his technique and the music better than the other one? And it's very essences, and I try to be objective as I can with the know-how I have, but in the end, of course, the 10-15% of my taste comes in. And sometimes you have a tie, and then still it's on the same level, and then I ask myself, okay, what is my taste? To be honest, right? Because I have other judges beside me, because then you have 3 rounds, it's a tie, the 4th round, and then no tie, but you feel, it would be a tie, but now, okay, what I like. And then it's not anymore, because both high level, when both high level is, then you go subjective.
I wanted to add something. I don't know if we have time.
Yes.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Perfect. Yeah. Like when it comes to judging as well, like, because I've judged like choreography competitions as well, and you know, some of us like probably don't like that kind of scene as well, like, or maybe if you do, it doesn't matter, but it's definitely a different kind of dance scene. However, what I like about these competitions is they do have like one certain like method of judging, and they have like, you take these parameters and like every single judge gets the same like parameters they have to abide by, and this way it does help with the there's an actual judging system, whereas not like we're not sitting here and then we're just watching. He has his system, I have mine, he has his, whereas in these competitions you actually have like this is this, and it's pretty much the same thing, technicality, creativity,
So,
this and that.
so the thing is, what? Sorry that I
Yeah, that's all right.
interrupted. Because I wanted to add something very
Yeah.
fast. So with Storm, I'm very cool with Storm, and he created with other people. He created the Trivium for the breaking, right?
Yes.
It's with the mind, body, and soul. And in body, it's not only technique. There are also other things.
Exactly.
And in mind is not only creativity. So they have really split, and it's electronic. It's, you know, with faders. You have five faders, and with these 5 faders,
Like
you
a
give
DJ.
percent. So you have 0, and then you give 100% to one side or 100% to the other side, and then you can say, okay, this creativity is here more, this musicality is here better, and then, you know, and this is very deep. This is very deep.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, and people think that everybody judge the same. No, because for you maybe the creativity is more than for me.
Yeah.
So it's still very individual judging. So
Okay,
just
okay.
to mention it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
I feel like this kind of, if everyone has that kind of method, it could be like a bit more objective. However, yeah, for sure there is subjectivity there. However, like there is that system where you can take out the person who gave the least, like the lowest score, and the person that gave the biggest score, and then you can get like some type of median result. So that kind of does also kind of take out the subjectivity as much as possible. However, it's always going to be subjective. But also, like, the thing is, like, for instance, if I'm like writing stuff, I've been in the situation where I'll like write scores. I've tried it a couple of times, but for me it's like sometimes very difficult to watch and write down at the same time, especially in our type of setting of battles, because you just don't have enough time to write. I'm like, I want to write this, but I'm like, oh, is it a 4 or is it 5 or is it like 4.5? The guy's already started. I'm like, okay, I've got to watch. So there's that extra thing. So I feel like when it's these kind of street battles, I do think it's good to also like maybe not have this all the time, because I want to like kind of be really focused in on the person, whereas when I have something, like it's very hard for me to like write it down or like while I'm actually watching.
You get used to it.
Yeah.
You get used
So
to
there
it.
are many
But yeah,
tools
right.
like
Yeah.
Heuretik, it's called in Germany. Heuretik. And it's actually how to find shortcuts as a judge. So as a judge you have to be educated actually. How to find shortcuts and not to write a big sentence, just to have your own signs that you can watch and make like your signs, and this sign, you know, it's a sentence actually. To have shortcuts, you know, and this is like, yeah. I can recommend the new book from Storm. It's called Think Breaking. Sorry for the commercial, but yes, it's crazy.
Link below.
It's crazy. It's so, because then you get really deep into the things. Okay. Yeah, and it's about breaking, but you can translate it into popping and so on, right? Of course.
Do we
Yes,
over
yes,
there?
yes.
It's over
Yes. Thank you,
Yeah,
guys.
the best.
Thank you for the speakers, for your answers, for your speeches. Thank you guys for coming. It was an
Yes, you
incredible
outside.
amount of.
Let's speak outside.
Never enough of time.
Maybe let's go out.